Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have swatches for you from Madam Glam. This is their new Gelementary collection. So these are going to be kind of like the OPI Infinite Shine and the like Essie Gel Couture polishes, where they're gel-like, but they're not gel. I do have 8 polishes here to share with you, and I also have their Gelementary Topcoat, which I will be using to top off all the swatches in this collection. In the description box below, I will link Madam Glam's site as well as their Instagram page, and I will link my Instagram page where I will have more swatches of this collection. Like I said, there are 8 polishes, and let's go ahead and get started. Again, all of my swatches today were topped off with the Gelementary Topcoat. I just wanted to go ahead and show you really quickly what that looked like. So the first polish is called Daydream, and this is a nice bright coral cream polish. So here's our first coat of Daydream. This goes on really nice, really smooth. It is very opaque here on this first coat. I do have just a little bit of unevenness, so I am going to go in for a second coat. This one has little specks of potentially unmixed pigment running throughout it. I'm not sure if you can tell in the video, but I will insert a close-up shot of this polish just to show what I'm talking about. Here is the second coat of Daydream, and this one does cover completely in 2 coats. These also dry up very fast and very glossy, very smooth. Again, a little bit on the thicker side as far as formula goes, but it does stay right where you put it. So there is 2 coats. The next polish is called Pom Poms, and this is a nice pinky peach cream. So here's the first coat of Pom Poms. Very similar to the last polish. It is a little bit on the thicker side, but it is very easy to use and work with, and it does go on really smoothly and pretty opaque here on this first coat. This is another polish that potentially has unmixed pigment running throughout it, because I am still getting these little beads of pink just in these 2 polishes. It isn't the biggest deal in the world, but it is something to note. So here is the second coat, and this one also covers completely in 2 coats. Just like the last one, this dries very fast and very glossy. I do recommend using the Gelementary Topcoat though. It is supposed to help make your manicure last just a little bit longer. I have not tested wear time on any of these though. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Scarlet, and this is a nice Kelly Green cream polish. It is coming out more blue on camera than it is in person. It is not blue by any means. It is definitely a bright grassy green. So here's our first coat of Scarlet. And this one goes on really smoothly, just like the last 2 polishes. It's not nearly as opaque on this first coat as the last 2 were. You can still very clearly see your visible nail line, but it does build up really, really nicely. In smooth formula, easy to use, easy to work with. This one also didn't have any of that unmixed pigment, so I assume it was just the pink pigment that was in those 2 polishes. So here is the second coat. And this one does cover completely in 2 coats for me. Depending on your application, you may want 3 coats with this. It does kind of have more of that jelly-like finish to it, so if you work in super thin coats, you may end up needing 3 coats for this, but I don't think that's necessary. Again, this one dries fast and glossy like the others, so there's 2 coats. Next up we have Saved by the Bell, and this is a light Tiffany blue cream polish. So here's our first coat of Saved by the Bell. For being such a light polish, this does cover really nicely. It is just a little bit uneven and patchy here in this first coat, so I am going to go in for a second coat. It's really easy to use though. It is not nearly as thick as the rest of the polishes have been. Not that they've been thick, but they've been noticeably thick for any kind of polish, but this one is a little bit thinner. It does feel like it would tend to run down the sides of your nails if you did too thick of a first coat. I feel like if you used a base coat, which I'm not, that wouldn't be an issue. But here's the second coat of Saved by the Bell, and for me this one covers completely in 2 coats. Once again, depending on your application, I could see you needing 3 coats for this one if you work in super thin coats. But it is very easy to use, dries very quickly, and very glossy. So there's 2 coats. Up next we have Mesa, and this is a nice turquoisey blue cream. So here's the first coat of Mesa. And this one covers really well in the first coat as well. It is similar to Scarlet as it covers nice and evenly. It's just a little bit sheer. You can still make out your nail line. So I'm going to go in for a second coat. It does have that a little bit of a thicker formula, so it's really easy to work with, as in it goes exactly where you want it. So here is the second coat of Mesa. And this one does cover completely in 2 coats, and unlike Scarlet, I don't think the thickness of your coats matters. I think either way, thick or thin, it's going to be a 2-coater for you. Once again, this one dries very fast, very glossy, no issues at all. I will say that I had a little bit of staining upon removal for this one and the next one, so if you're going to use this, I would suggest just swiping straight down. Next up we have Junior High, and this is a really dark blurply color. It is looking a lot more purple here on camera than it is in person. It is definitely more of a blue. I'm not sure what's up with my camera or how to fix that, but for some reason some of these bottle shots come out very color inaccurate. So what I would recommend is trusting how it looks when I apply in the live swatches. So here is the first coat of Junior High. This one covers really well in the first coat as well. Obviously I can still make out my nail line and there are some uneven issues, but that does go away easily with the second coat. Once again, I did have a little bit of skin staining with this one as far as when I removed it went, because I tend to remove side to side with my cotton ball, but if you remove straight down, it really shouldn't be an issue. So there is the first coat, and here's our second coat of Junior High. And this one does cover completely in 2 coats. And dries very quickly, very glossy, smooth, easy to work with. This is a little bit on the thicker side, but again, that just makes it really easy to work with for me. So there is 2 coats. Up next we have Arabella, and this is a light lavender purple. It does have like pinky undertones to it, and it is a cream. So here's the first coat of Arabella. And for being such a light color, this does have a more sheer finish to it. It does build up really nicely on 2 coats for me though. Again, it's kind of got the same formula that Saved by the Bell did, where it was on the thinner side for this collection, but it's not thin by any means. So there is our first coat, and here's our second coat of Arabella. And for me, this one does cover completely in 2 coats. And again, just like Saved by the Bell, depending on your application, you may end up needing 3 coats if you work in super thin coats. This one's going to dry decently fast and very glossy. And I will say, for being that almost pinkish hue, you know, family range, I didn't have any unmixed pigment in here either. So there is 2 coats. And lastly we have Souvenirs, and this is a light concrete gray cream polish. Here's our first coat of Souvenir. This one covers really well in the first coat here. The first time I used it for my video for Instagram, I did just stop at 1 coat. It was completely opaque. I was working in thicker coats, so depending on your application, you may want 2 thinner coats, which is what I'm going to show you here today. So this is thinner coats, and it is nearly opaque on this first coat. It's just a little bit uneven. So here's the second coat of Souvenir, and this one does cover again completely in 2 thin coats for me. Just really easy to use. It is a little bit on the thicker side, and that kind of makes it where it'll stay right where you put it. This one also, I feel, self levels the best of anything in this collection. Also dries very fast and very glossy. So there is 2 coats of Souvenirs. So a big surprise to me, junior high was my favorite. This is so beautiful, and it's a blue that I'll actually wear, and it's really, really nice, and it's easy to use, easy to work with. It's just fantastic across the board. Not that all of these weren't, it's just this one stood out to me. And that is it. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this collection. Let me know if you plan on picking any of them up. Let me know what your favorite was. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. Subscribe if you want to see more from me, and I will talk to you again next time.